Okay. Thank you for joining us, Kamapala. How have you been and how has your day been?
Hi, Abigail. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
You know what? I just want to say from one creative to another, well done on your podcast.
Thank you. Thank you
The
so much.
Hard Convo podcast,
Yes,
really, really inspirational. I have had a listen back to some of the guests you've had here and great conversation. So, yeah, well done to you.
thank you so much. And thank you for accepting our invitation today to have this conversation with us.
Thank you for having me. I am the one who's just, like, I want to come here and just share as much as I can. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you too. So I'm sure our listeners would want to know who Kamapala is, like the all bubbly, loving, creative person. Can you share a brief of your background with our listeners and then we'll go into the conversation?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kamapala Chukwuka, and I am originally from Cameroon, married to a Nigerian,
Mm,
hence the names. I am a mom of three boys, a wife,
mm,
and as well as being a creative entrepreneur. Well, what does a creative entrepreneur actually mean? For me, it just means I am an author, a self-published author of three books, and I also have a digital marketing company called Inspired Creative Hub. So yeah, hence the term creative entrepreneur.
mm. Thank you for breaking it down for us. Okay, so going straight into your creative journey, can you share with us the inspiration behind your writing journey, your creative journey, how it all started, and how far you've come?
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, some people, growing up, some people would say, "Oh, I wanted to become an author. Oh, I wanted to write books." I don't necessarily, I wouldn't class myself as one of those people. For me, becoming an author just happened. It's one of those things that I needed to do, and I'll tell you why. When I became a mom, I had my first two sons. I just wanted to instill in them the love of reading, because I love reading as well growing up, and I still do. But I just wanted to instill in them that love, that books can take you to places you're yet to see. It just, brings that imagination, your creativity, and all of that good stuff. So, as a result, I was taking my boys to the library. But one thing that I noticed, Abigail, is, all our trips resulted in us coming back home with more or less the same books.
Mm,
And when I say that, I just mean, we were coming back with books that were centered around European characters, or even when we wanted variety,
mhm,
it was, maybe in the form of animals or monsters. And I thought, hold a second,
mhm,
where are all the books with children that look like me? I'm a an African woman with African children, where the books that represent diversity, so to speak. And when I couldn't find these books, I did bury my head in the sand for a while, to be honest,
mm,
because I didn't think I could write these books.
mhm,
But I've got a nag of a spirit. If something needs to be done and if I could be part of the solution, it would never stop nagging me until I'm part of the solution. So, yes, hence how I've become, author of three books. I started with one, and the feedback was just so amazing. And I thought, you know what, if I could write one, I could write two. And if I could write two, three, four, let's
Let's
see how
keep
it goes.
going.
But so far, yes.
Well, that's very interesting. I was going to follow up with the question of
Yeah.
how how has your personal experiences do you have a point where your personal experiences also shaped your writing?
Oh, for sure. Um, because I grew up in Africa, and one of the things about the African culture is we we thought about positive moral values,
Hmm. Yeah.
virtues. You call it what you want. There's always a moral to a
Hmm.
story, right?
Yeah.
When you read a story, it's like, okay, what did I learn here? So, growing up, I always, we always had those virtues or morals instilled in us, and for me, I always thought if I was going to put anything out there, I would also want to fill them, fill whatever it is with love, with kindness. And that definitely has been something that I've infused in my writing. My books all they contain some sort of moral, whether it's kindness, whether it's confidence, even if, it's a little bit of patience in there. I just want kids to, and grown-ups to to reminded of, that you are a good human being.
Yeah.
Just go out there and put that goodness into the world.
Yeah, some parents do love reading these kids' books that we label as children's books. So it's good you you mentioned. Yeah, we all have our lessons to pick from these
Mm-hmm.
books. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
So going back to your background, how do you balance your roles as a mom, a wife, an entrepreneur, and then your passion for writing?
Oof.
Has there
I
has there
don't.
ever been a conflict at a point?
Oh,
Mm.
Abigail, you say it as if it's just like a one-time thing. There's conflict every day. Even just having this podcast with you, what did I say in the beginning? I'm like, listen, girl, I have to go put my children to bed, okay? I'm gonna give you this time, but remember that I'm a mom. So it's not something that you deal with once and that's it, because like you said, you rightfully said, I'm a mom, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a wife, a friend. There's all of those different hats that you wear, and at the end of the day, it's a struggle, to say the least. It's a struggle to constantly balance everything and just be in harmony with oneself. So when you say, how do I balance it? I don't. I'm constantly dropping the ball on one and picking up another, and but I think one of the things that I've learned the most through it all is to give myself the grace that I need, to go through it all. And there's more tips, but yeah, I'm just gonna say, for now, I'm putting one foot in front of the other.
I know it's relatable. When I asked you, see, I was also laughing because sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
as much as you try, you still can't find a balance. But
Mm-hmm.
we keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, it's about asking for help too, isn't it?
Mhm.
Right?
Yes, that's very
Um,
important.
yeah, because you on your own, you're definitely going to fail when you're trying to wear all those hats. So asking for help, setting boundaries, planning, there's all of that good stuff that you can incorporate into to fitting it all or making it all work together. But I think they all need to be in unison with each other. You can't just do one without the other. You have to have that help, from your community, from your family, from friends. There are days when I'm running late to go pick up the boys and I have to call another mom friend, like, please, can you get them out of class? And, there are days when clients really need me and I have to ask the husband, please, can I just, can you just do this little favor for me while I do this? So, it's everyone coming together to make it work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does take a village.
Mhm. Literally, because the without that support system, like I said,
Oh
you're just
Lord,
going to
you
fail.
just
So it
cracked.
literally takes a village.
It's
So shout out to all of those, moms out there, and all of us just
yeah.
trying to keep it together.
It's good you mentioned the support system because my next question, we are in May and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So
Mm,
I want to know from your perspective, okay,
mm, mm.
what are some of your personal experience? You don't need to share details, but just like
That's okay.
a bit, what are some of the personal experiences that have shaped your perspective on mental health?
Oof. Where do I start? Where do I start? It's everything from burnout to to highs and lows, to just giving yourself compassion, and some days telling yourself off. It's a constant, it's real, right? Mental health, the struggles are out there and they're real. So for me, it's everything altogether. It's identity struggles sometimes, that good old the good old syndrome comes in, like imposter syndrome
Yeah.
comes into play. Am I even all that? There's all of that. There's the doubts.
Yeah.
Some days, like, do I even know what I'm doing? Who am I to be even sat here talking about mental health when I
Mm,
really haven't even figured it out for myself?
mm,
So yes, it's all of those things together. But at the end of the day, it's just having more compassion for oneself. And yeah, just, I think the word I used in the beginning, grace,
great.
right?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
giving yourself a little bit of grace while you try to figure it out.
That's very important. And from
Yeah.
from your background as a creative person, do you believe writing can be a tool for healing or therapy?
I mean, like, if I could do exclamations on an audio, I would say yes, absolutely yes. And it's not just it's writing. It's the thoughts of, even those, just putting down words. Sometimes you can be sad and you write the word sad, and then from there you break it down to, why am I sad?
Mm,
Who's me? So writing is just such a powerful and healing tool
mm.
that my husband says it all the time. If you ask him, I've got a notebook in every corner of my house. There's something that I'm going to write down. Even even sometimes I just write on my piece of paper, Lord help me, because I'm about to catch a
I have
case
those
with these
sticky
boys.
notes all over the house, and sometimes.
Absolutely. It's the only way, I know how to do it.
Mm,
Writing is,
mm,
it's a way of processing one's emotions. It helps you to release the
mm.
anxiety. And then writing also, like, you capture hope when you write,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, do you know, before you even started the podcast, I'm sure it was a thought in your mind.
Mm,
I don't know, but I'm sure, at some point you've written it down. Like, yeah, I would love to, start a podcast. And I mean, for me, it's so important that I put those words down on a piece of paper, because it gives perspective sometimes.
mhm,
It helps me to build, bring down those ideas that, are stuck up there. It helps me to get clarity on some of the things that, I'm dealing with.
mhm,
And yeah, it's so much so that I've even had to go on to create a journal, but I think
mm.
we'll talk about
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
that.
We'll get to the journal. That's my favorite part. I thought I was the only one who loved journaling, but
Oh, yes,
apparently.
100%.
Okay, so there are so many misconceptions, myths surrounding mental health. What are some that you've heard that are the ridiculous ones and those ones that you almost fell for?
Can I just say this, right?
Mhm,
For me, right?
mhm,
So the thing for me really is, we are human beings,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
Who are experiencing feelings, emotions, and then there's the external forces of pressures,
mhm,
chaos in the real world. So at the essence of our being
mhm,
is, that it's the I'm trying not to sound all philosophical on you guys, but for me, the point that I'm trying to make is, mental health is real,
mhm.
because it's a state of being,
Yes.
right? Whether you are in harmony or out of, or disharmony, or you're in sync or out of sync, the point is, mental health is a state of being. It could be chaotic one day, it could be good the other day, but it's a state of being. Therefore, it's a real thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a real thing. It's not a weakness. It's not the only people who are diagnosed who need to think about their state of being. It's everyone, right? It's about us encouraging people to think about their state of being,
Mhm, mhm,
right? Whether it's through honest conversations like these ones, like what we're having,
mhm,
or even I would even go as far as saying seeking therapy,
mhm.
because it's a state of being. I mean, I couldn't say it more.
Mhm.
Like, it's not a fluke,
Yeah.
you know it's just a state of being. As long as you're alive and you're a living being, you have a mental state of being.
Yes, that's exactly the.
So
Mm,
yeah,
mm,
it's the all the misconceptions I've heard from the, outright ridiculous ones for me, or just stem from the fact that somebody is being a human
mm,
being. Therefore, they will have different emotions
mm,
to deal with, and they'll also have external pressures to deal
mhm,
with.
mhm.
So, however, it is that they are processing that through their brains, the chaos out there, the emotions in there, it just boils down to the fact that we are being.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
mental health is real.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. How we handle it is a whole other conversation.
Mhm, mhm. I was just going to add that most of these misconceptions surrounding mental health have made it
Yeah.
look like a taboo topic. People don't really talk about
Mm-hmm.
it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think most of these also stem out of certain cultural perspectives and what
Yeah.
society thinks about what a normal person should look like or speak like or feel like. So
Yeah.
people don't really open up about these issues when it comes to mental health. So I
And
totally
they
agree.
should.
Mm,
They
mm.
should. They should, because again, I mean, I just want to drive home the fact that it's a state of being.
Yes,
You're
it's
here, you're a human being.
it's it.
You are going through something.
Mm,
And like I said, it could be a high, it could be a low, but
mhm.
you will constantly be going through something.
Definitely.
Whether you choose to speak to somebody about it or deal with it in your own way, you will always be going through
Yeah,
something.
yeah. We all do. We all do have our moments.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
yeah, as a creative woman, how do you take care of your mental health? What are some of your hacks, secret hacks,
I love that.
or
I love that.
habits?
uh, my hacks, just they are so random sometimes,
Mm,
right? Like,
mm,
it could be something as just going to my husband for a hug,
mhm,
or something as just dropping everything, putting music really loud and
mhm,
just dancing. But I think the ones that really, that really heal me are just, I love just taking walks in nature. It's such a beautiful thing. I
mhm,
think there's just something so therapeutic about just being out there
mm.
in the outdoor, fresh air in your
Oh
lungs, and
Lord.
sometimes the sun shining. Most times in London it's gloomy,
Mm,
but at the end of the day, it's just that fresh air going through your
mm.
lungs that makes all the difference. And we've talked about the first one, just writing it all
Mhm.
down,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. That's
Writing
what we
it all
share in
down.
common.
Yeah. Like sometimes you're just so mad, at the world. And the only way to do it is to write it down. And sometimes you have all these big ideas, and the only way to do it is just write
Right.
it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you're frustrated, you're high, you're low. But yeah, once you put it all down and put that, it kind of gives you some sort of perspective on how to move forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Before I ask your perspective on journaling, so
Mm.
people have a lot of trust issues these days. Like you don't know who to
Mm-hmm.
trust or who to open up to and stuff like that. But I think the journal is more like your best friend. You can always go back
Yeah.
to it and be like, oh, there was this phase in my life some time ago and stuff
Yes.
like that. So, or you can also use it to track your progress. And yeah, yeah,
Yes.
most of us who don't know how to
Absolutely.
vent, like maybe confront
Mm-hmm.
feelings head on, you can
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
write
Mm-hmm.
it down, and then it will help you to think through.
Yes.
Just there's no. It's more like your best friend, your buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It really is, right? Because I mean, I think you've said it all, right? It's about putting it there and knowing that, what, my thoughts are safe there until somebody finds it and
Mm.
reads it. But that's okay too, because, if they do, then eventually they know what you're
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah,
That's okay,
yeah. It's also good to share.
But
It's also good to
it's also good to share. So hey, if you see it, good on you. But the point that we're trying to make is it's real. You've got it down. If you've unburdened
share.
your mind, your spirit down there,
Mm-hmm.
and you've you look through it. You say, oh, remember that time when I said, yeah, at some point,
Mm-hmm.
I am
Mm-hmm.
going to
Mm-hmm.
unleash this,
Mm-hmm.
this, and it's right there for you to track.
Yes.
Like, I've written it all, and look at this, there's a journal that has been birthed.
Mm-hmm.
There's a book
Yeah.
that, I didn't even think I had in
Mm-hmm.
me. There's the ideas that I'm still to do, hopefully, if I just keep putting that action into, putting words practice
Mm-hmm.
and getting action out there, I'm going to birth those ones too. But it's not just about ideas, it's also about perspective,
Yeah.
that time when, you felt like, oh, gosh, not good, I'm not good enough, right? And then you wrote it down, but then as you continue to write, you realize, like, oh, but I am good enough. I've got this home that I'm looking I've written this book.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not even only about achievement, it's sometimes just as a person, right?
Yeah.
This is who I am. So yeah, there's just so much to it that, I mean, again, it's a whole, let's do another conversation
On
on journaling
journaling,
one.
yeah, and how it can boost our mental health. I think we should do that later.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
So we are gradually getting to the end of the conversation. I want you to
Oh,
share with us some of the projects you're working on, and then
mhm.
yeah.
Right. Abigail, listen, come on, Palace. I'm always working on something because I'm a creative,
Mm,
and I've got the most amazing, husband.
mhm,
He's very supportive. So
mhm. Let's give
he's
him
always
his
like, okay,
flowers.
yeah, like, okay, so yeah, let's look at this. And I'll just
Mm,
bring ideas, and he's like, yeah, yeah, and then he just, he fly with it.
mm,
So there's always something that, could always be. There's always something that could be birth, as long as you have life,
mm,
and you have, a brain that works, there's always an idea
mm,
that you could bring out there. And so yeah, there's always something. But as of now, I'm just really excited that I was able to, launch Because I Am Journal. It's a guided tool for self-love, clarity, and growth.
mm,
So I'm always, excited when something like that comes to the world. And then even to see the reaction of, the people, some of the women who've bought it, and how they're just loving it as much as I do. We're just celebrating that as of now. And if there's anything else to come up, hey, we'll share as it
definitely,
comes.
we'll have you to talk about it. But
Yeah,
what makes the B, is it BIA or BIA? Like, how do you pronounce
so the word, it's so funny, right?
it?
It's amazing that it's come together like that.
Yeah.
So that the term, BIA, right? And
Okay.
I call it BIA now because
Yeah.
it's a BIA is come, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
In Igbo, in the
Yeah.
Igbo
Yeah.
language.
Yeah.
I'm married to
Yeah.
an Igbo man,
Yeah.
so it's a because I am. It's
Oh.
because I am, because I'm a woman, because I'm creative, because I'm a mother,
Okay.
because because I'm a woman who dares to dream or believe in herself,
Oh.
right?
Okay.
That was the idea. I just thought, because I am, that's such a
That's
powerful thing,
powerful. Yeah.
because I am.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, this is such it's very empowering to say, because I am.
Positive
How dare you?
affirmations.
Yeah, how dare you do that? He said, because I am,
Mm.
how dare you put out a journal, because I am, I'm just somebody who
Oh,
creates.
that's
So
beautiful.
yeah, and then, because I am is also a mouthful, and just thought, oh, we could actually shorten it to
Mm,
Bia,
mhm,
which is come forth with
mhm,
who you are,
mhm.
right? Don't be afraid to just come forth. And it's just a statement that just came together so
Oh,
nicely,
wow.
and I the
Yeah.
idea of Because I Am.
Yeah. What I want you to just share briefly what makes the beer journal stand out. What are some of the special features, um,
Yes.
especially as you're talking about boosting our mental health?
Mm-hmm.
How I know you a lot went into the preparation, the creating process,
Mm-hmm.
even
Yeah.
conceiving the idea and all that.
Mm-hmm.
How
Mm-hmm.
did it all come out, and what makes it stand out
You
for
know what?
someone who
I
doesn't
love
love
that you asked me
journaling?
this, because
Yeah.
I've not really had it's newly launched, so I've not really had time to talk about it, right?
Oh, okay.
And now I come
That's
on
an
here and somebody's like,
exclusive.
and I am just like, I'm so in, I'm so in love with the process that I'm just like, if you can see how much I'm beaming,
Mm,
right, guys, you listening, I'm literally just beaming with, with happiness and joy that I'm being asked about something that I love and I'm so passionate about. And yes, to answer your question, oh gosh, what makes it stand out? It's a labor of love,
mhm,
and I mean that genuinely. It's something that my team and I,
mhm.
right? I'm gonna give them credence as
Yeah,
well because
yeah,
they helped,
yeah.
to bring it together. We've been working on it now for I think 2, 3 years, no, 2 years, maybe 2 years. Let's say 2 years,
Oh, wow.
and and it's the aesthetics of it as well. Like if you look how beautiful those pages are, because I love beautiful things.
I love the purple color. It's like a light
Yes,
shade of purple. Yeah.
absolutely. I'm a big fan of things that are pretty. So I was like, oh, I want it to be pretty, and but I think more than anything else is the fact that I have filled it up with some really, really empowering
Mm-hmm.
affirmations. While you're writing through those beautiful pages, you have, the prompts, but also the celebratory, words
Mm-hmm.
of congratulatory words of just affirming you to keep going, and affirming yourself, the woman that you are,
Mm-hmm.
because you dare to dream. I had I just had feedback this evening from somebody who had bought the journal, and she's like, you left me in tears with the words on the front of your journal,
Oh.
because the journal says something like, as the world is full of chaos. I can't even remember what it was, but it was something in,
Mm.
I can't even remember what words I've put on there, but I think it's
You could
it's
relate
something
with
just
them.
reminding,
Mm.
yeah, it's reminding you that, despite all the chaos out there,
Mm.
just look inwards, believe in yourself, right? And yeah, I was like, oh, that is so moving. I've asked her, can I please share that? Because you moved me. You're in tears. I'm in tears now. And I was like, we need to,
It's
we need
comforting,
to stop
you know.
crying. Sorry, Abigail.
Yeah, I'm saying that those words are quite comforting. There's a lot of chaos going around, and
Mm-hmm.
people are going
Mm-hmm.
through a lot, and the world isn't kind at all.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think
Yes.
we all need these words of comfort and assurance. I
Mm-hmm.
think even if you're not a fan of journaling, I think that's why I asked that question, because someone will say, well, I can just get a notebook and just start writing stuff in it. But with these positive affirmations, reminding you who you are, encouraging you to step out, stand out, and all
Mm-hmm.
that, it's the add-ons that make it special, and the fact that
Oh,
you have to
yes.
take it,
Oh,
it
yeah.
took a lot of you to come up with it. I think it makes it kind of like an intimate something. Whenever you are writing, it's an intimate moment for you, and you are reflecting, you are writing all these ideas and venting and all that. But at the long run, it's comforting. The comfort you get from the journaling, I think that's what people feel too. People think it's just about writing, but it's the comfort, the fact that okay, I've let all this out. You feel that's the sign of relief.
100%. I think I think you've just brilliantly said it, right? It's it's yeah. I think the word is the comfort, right?
Mm,
Like when you finally get that time, and you should make time to just put your
mm,
thoughts down
mm,
in a reflective, positive, if possible. I mean, even if you do go down the negative route, try to end up, looking through the light
mm,
and the solutions,
mm,
because it doesn't help, to just stay in that negative. Try to, bring yourself away from it, and look for something positive, because there's always going to be something positive.
mm, mm,
Fine, even on the day that we've had today, like today, which is so stressful,
mm.
we definitely have something. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
I know that I'm gonna sit, at the end of the day, I'm gonna sit down and just reflect on the beauty that was today.
Mm. Okay,
Mhm.
so are we expecting or should we expect another children's book from your collection?
Ooh. I love that question. You know why I love that question? Because when people ask me that, I love to just surprise you all. One day I'll just like, bam, I've got another one. Hey. So yeah, I'm just gonna say, yeah, just watch this space, right? It might not come, but hey, just keep your eyes here. If you see something, be grateful. If you don't, be grateful.
Watch this space. We'll keep watching. We'll keep
Oh,
watching.
Abigail, thank
Uh,
you, thank you.
okay, so
Hopefully.
finally, before we let you go, talking about mental health, finally,
Mhm.
we want to take your thoughts on, from your perspective, okay, how do you think society can also play a role to promote mental wellness for creatives?
Honestly, we need to provide more platforms like this where we can come and just express ourselves. But it's not just platforms, it's also funding, because I
Mm-hmm.
think creative expressions are priceless, right? For an artist who paints, that means everything to them, right? So we need provision for funding, for platforms, for that help us with our expressions as
Mm-hmm.
well as our well-being. We also need we need to incorporate creative mental health into schools, communities, workplace, because these things are really powerful when we have initiatives where these things are talked about in
Mm-hmm.
schools, because you start there, right? It's
Yeah.
on the little ones, then you're talking about it in the communities, whether it's for women, whether it's diverse communities. We just need infrastructure that caters to this really important, very, very vital issue.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to, like, I think, give give them the flowers,
Yeah.
recognize the
Yeah.
emotional labor
Yeah.
creatives
Yeah.
perform and support it, right?
Yeah.
We are, as creatives, you're putting something out there into the world. There's so many people who have thoughts, ideas, but how many of them actually get to bring it to life? So if somebody has the courage to bring it to life, I think that support
Yeah.
should be there, and the recognition as well.
I think we are not celebrated enough, but we'll
Mhm.
manage to do it in our own small ways. And
Absolutely. And you know what? I think, that said, I think creatives just love creating. Whether somebody supports you or not, like, if
you
you've got that
just
flair,
to
that
go.
creative flair, sometimes you just want to do it for yourself,
Mm, mm.
right?
Yeah.
Because we don't really get that, the support,
Mhm.
the funding.
Yeah.
Sometimes these things are just a labor of
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You've rightly put it together for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kamapala. We've had a great time. Well, I have. I don't know about you. Have you had a great?
Oh, Abigail, I have had a fantastic time. Again, massive congratulations on your podcast. This is beautiful. I love what you're doing. And also, congratulations on all the amazing things you're doing as a
Oh,
creative
thank you.
entrepreneur. Women like you inspire me.
Oh,
I love
so
being
I'm
in,
blushing.
yes, you know how I am. I'm a creator's. I'm one of the biggest cheerleaders for creatives, because I believe that we are such unique people that just decide to share their gifts, and I will always applaud and cheer loudly for creatives and non-creatives as well. Don't worry, we got you guys. It's just this is our thing, so
Yeah.
be happy for.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You inspire us too. You're doing a lot, and I'm glad we had this conversation today. I know hopefully when there's another project coming up, we'll get you on here to talk about it as well.
Thank you, Abigail, for having me, and thank you all so much for tuning in. Keep supporting this channel. She's doing amazing things. So if you've ever heard any of her podcasts, share it with a friend. Share it. That's how creatives, keep going. When you hear something good that
Mhm.
you've heard from, a creative, please just share it. It doesn't cost you anything to
Thank
click that
you.
share button. So.
Thank you.
Let's support her. Let's support her.
Thank you for your kind words and endorsements. And also, I also want to wish you congratulations on your
Thank
journal.
thank
Definitely, I
you.
have to. I have to. It's a must. I have to get myself a copy because I also love
Oh,
journaling, and with all the
oh,
features, I think I would love to have a personal copy, and then yeah,
bless.
I'll give you my
We will.
feedback as well.
We'll make it happen. We'll
Okay.
make it.
Okay. Kamapala, before you leave, please share your social media handles with us so that our listeners can follow your channel and join
Oh,
you on your creative journey and see what you're doing.
thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. So you can follow me on Instagram.
Mm,
In fact, my social handle is the same across all social media.
okay.
So Kamapala_C. You'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also TikTok.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
those are my main platforms.
Okay. Kamapala
So yeah,
underscore C.
Kamapala_C, and you obviously will find me on my website,
Okay.
kamapalac.com.
All right. Thank you so much. And have a lovely
Everyone, okay, bye bye.
bye.